Good morning, children. I am glad to see you. And today we continue to speak with you about traveling. Do you like traveling? How often do you travel? These questions you ask when we speak about traveling. So, when people travel, they use different ways of traveling. Let's remember them. So, how can people travel? People can travel by hot air balloon, by plane, by helicopter, by ship. People can also travel by bus. People can travel by coach. Coach is a new word. Coach is a synonym of the word bus. Couch is a comfortable bus for long distances. So, people can travel by car and people can travel by train and also people can travel by bike. So, I believe that traveling by hot air balloon is exciting. Traveling by a coach is comfortable. So, we have repeated how can people travel. And now let's repeat who can people travel with. So, people can travel with their relatives, people can travel with classmates, people can travel with parents, people can travel with pets, yes. So, people can travel with team, also people can travel with friends, but you can travel by yourself. For example, I think traveling with pets is uncomfortable, inconvenient, and I prefer traveling by myself. And what do you think about different ways of traveling? Express your opinion. So children, today we are going to an interesting city. Look please at these things. Can you guess this city? Yes, you are absolutely right. Today we are going to London. Continue please world famous or well-known sentence. London is the capital of... Exactly, Britain. London is the capital of Great Britain. So, look please at the map. Yes, this is map of the UK. And today we are going to learn a new word. Be surrounded by. So, the UK, as you can see, is surrounded by water. The UK is surrounded by water. Children, look at the map of London. Can you see these pictures with their descriptions? Can you guess them? Yes, you are absolutely right. They are sites. So, children, a place of interest, site, attraction, and our new word landmark are synonyms. Landmark, Достопримечательность. And now, children, you can see a map of London, you can see our new word landmark. Can you guess the topic? Yes, you are absolutely right. The topic is London landmarks, and our aim for today is discussing the attraction of London. But we don't discuss them. We are going to visit them. Yes, exactly. I invite you to our virtual tour around London. During our virtual tour, you will answer some questions and I will tick our landmarks which we have visited on our map of London. Our first landmark is Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament. You have answered the question. What is actually Big Ben? So children, let's go!
Big Ben, officially called Elizabeth Tower, is one of the most famous and popular landmarks in London, England. The tower has 4 clock faces, 1 on each side, and 5 bells hanging inside. Many people are surprised to learn that Big Ben really refers to the largest bell inside the tower, and not the clock or the tower itself. The story of Big Ben began in 1834 when a fire destroyed the old Palace of Westminster. A new Parliament building was constructed and along with it, a clock tower. The largest bell is officially known as the Great Bell, but most people call it Big Ben. In addition to Big Ben, 4 smaller bells hang in the belfry. These 4 smaller bells are called quarter bells. They play part of a melody every 15 minutes and the full melody on the hour.
Was it interesting? So, and now let's check your predictions. The question was, what is actually Big Ben? And the answer, Big Ben is the tower bell. You are absolutely right. So children, we are going to our second landmark. It is Westminster Abbey. So, Westminster Abbey is situated opposite Big Ben. Before our excursion, answer please the question, what is Westminster Abbey? So, enjoy our tour.
Westminster Abbey. This most historic church in the English-speaking world is where kings and queens have been crowned and buried since 1066. While it was first built in the 11th century, much of what we see today is 14th century. When there's a royal wedding, the world looks on as, amid all this splendor, thousands of Britain's glitterati gather under these graceful Gothic arches. The centerpiece is the tomb of Edward the Confessor, who founded the abbey, and surrounding Edward are the tombs of 29 other kings and queens. This is the tomb of Queen Elizabeth I. Her royal orb symbolizes she was queen of the entire globe. The abbey is filled with the remains of people who put the great in Britain: saints, musicians, scientists, and soldiers. For lovers of English literature, strolling through Poets' Corner can be a pilgrimage in itself. King Henry VII's Lady Chapel, with its colorful windows and fanciful banners, has the festive air of a medieval pageant. The elaborate ceiling is a fine example of fan vaulting, a style that capped the Gothic age. At the far end, a wall of modern stained glass marks the Royal Air Force Chapel. It honors the fighter pilots of all nations who died defending Britain in 1944. With saints in stained glass, heroes in carved stone, and the remains of England's greatest citizens under the floorstones, Westminster Abbey is the national church and the religious heart of England.
The correct answer is Westminster Abbey is a church. Near Westminster Abbey is our third landmark. Can you guess it? Yes, it's Buckingham Palace. Buckingham Palace. Can you guess how many rooms are there? Now, let's see. palace there are 775 rooms. Wow, amazing! And now we continue our journey. We are going to Hyde Park. And the question will be, who was the Speaker's Corner created by? Watch a TV and find the answer.
When Londoners want to relax and get away, to get some fresh air, to stroll, jog, ride a bike or rent a horse, row a boat or play with their dogs, they often come here. This is Hyde Park, one of the 8 royal parks in London. The 350-acre green space has been the site of great exhibitions, great demonstrations, and great concerts. Hyde Park is not named for a person. The word Hyde is derived from an Anglo-Saxon word meaning a unit of land measurement. The land the park sits on had been owned by the monks of Westminster Abbey since before the Norman invasion. But in 1536, when King Henry VIII dissolved the monasteries as part of his break with the Roman Catholic Church, he seized the property and turned it into a royal hunting preserve. It wasn't until 1637, under the reign of Charles I, that the general public was allowed in. In 1728, Queen Caroline took 300 acres on the west side of the park and turned it into Kensington Gardens. It was during this time that a large artificial lake called the Serpentine was created. King William III had a 4-mile-long illuminated carriageway installed from Kensington Palace to St. James Palace. The southeast corner of Hyde Park is actually connected to Green Park on the backside of Buckingham Palace, which in turn connects to St. James Park. The Household Cavalry Barracks faces Hyde Park, and mounted troops use the park on a regular basis. Hyde Park has a metropolitan police station, a legacy of the days of large-scale, often violent demonstrations in the park. In 1872, the government created the Speaker's Corner on the northeast corner of the park in an effort to keep peace by giving people a place to speak on the issues of the day. The tradition continues. Every Sunday, people are free to come to the corner and speak on any subject. Nearby is the famous Marble Arch. It once stood at the entrance of Buckingham Palace, but it was moved to its present location in 1851, when Queen Victoria began major renovations of the palace. Next to the arch are some monumental sculptures, including a giant horsehead called Stillwater. One of the most visited areas of the park is the memorial to the late Princess Diana. The fountain is an oval-shaped stream made from Cornish granite. In places, the water moves smoothly. In other places, there's great turbulence, symbolic of the life of Diana. It was designed by American landscape architect Catherine Gustafson and installed in 2004. The memorial is located on the south side of the lake near the Lido Cafe. Hyde Park is a great place to relax and unwind. It's like taking a quick trip to the country. The park has several restaurants as well as bike and boat rentals. Hyde Park is open to the public from 5 a.m. to midnight.
And the correct answer is Speaker's Corner was created by the government. Correct. And we continue. Our next landmark is a famous square. It is Trafalgar Square. And the question is, whose name has column got? Enjoy the journey and try to answer this question.
Trafalgar Square is the most famous square in Britain and is located in the centre of London. It was built in honour of Britain's most famous naval admiral, Lord Nelson. Lord Nelson joined the Navy as a young man and worked his way up the ranks, eventually taking command of the Royal Navy. Lord Nelson fought in many famous naval battles. He lost an arm in one battle, an eye in another battle, and finally his life in the Battle of Trafalgar. The Battle of Trafalgar took place in 1805. when the Royal Navy, under Nelson's command, won a decisive victory over Napoleon's navy. After this battle, Napoleon's navy was so weak that there was no chance that he would ever invade Britain. So you could say that Lord Nelson saved Britain from invasion. There is a tall column in Trafalgar Square with a statue of Nelson on top. The square is used during major national celebrations and on every New Year's Eve. The National Art Gallery adjoins Trafalgar Square. The gallery houses some of Britain's most treasured works of art. Street performers often perform on Trafalgar Square in front of the National Gallery. Trafalgar Square is a tourist attraction that a first-time visitor to London should not miss.
And the correct answer is: the column was named after Admiral Nelson, who won the Battle of Trafalgar. We are ready with this question and this landmark, Trafalgar Square. And our next landmark is London Eye. London Eye. So, try to answer the question. What river is situated on? Enjoy our tour.
The tallest structure along the banks of the River Thames, and one of the newest, is the London Eye. Constructed using parts from all over Europe, this 443-foot-tall Ferris wheel has 32 air-conditioned pods, each representing one of the 32 boroughs of London. Smart travelers avoid lines by booking their tickets online and picking them up at one of the self-service kiosks. 25 guests at a time line up to board the capsules for a 30-minute ride. Interactive guides built into the capsule walls will identify what you're seeing on the horizon. The ride is so smooth you hardly feel like you're moving. But once you reach the top, well, let's just say the view is unbeatable. With the iconic skyline of London laid out before you, it's not uncommon to feel like you're on top of the world. Big Ben and the Palace of Westminster, St. Paul's Cathedral, Westminster Abbey, and so many more of London's classic buildings are laid out in front of you, just begging to be explored. But for now, just enjoy the moment. Watch your step as you disembark, and exit through the gift shop.
Yes, let's check your answers. London Eye is situated on the River Thames. And the last landmark for today is the Tower of London. Nowadays, it's a museum. And you try to answer the question, what was there before? Enjoy our tour.
Both a royal palace and World Heritage Site, the Tower of London is one of the most iconic sites here in London. We're here nice and early before basically anyone else because we're going to be seeing the opening ceremony of the Tower of London.
Here's the man that makes sure the tower is secured, and he actually carries the Queen's keys.
The keys have been escorted by the guards, and the Tower of London is now officially open. Built by William the Conqueror as a royal residence, it's also been a prison, armory, and home of the Royal Mint. Easily the most magnificent thing here at the Tower of London, and maybe in all of London, is the crown jewel. So we're gonna head in and see that, but no cameras allowed. We've stopped here at Trader's Gate, and this is where they brought some of the prisoners in by boat at high tide. One of those prisoners, Princess Elizabeth, who would eventually become Queen Elizabeth I.
And the correct answer is, it used to be a prison and a treasure house. So, we have finished our journey for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. And now, let's check what can you remember after our tour, virtual tour. So, look please at the desk. What is it? Can you guess it? Is it the Tower of London? Maybe the House of Parliament? Or maybe Buckingham Palace? Yes, it is Buckingham Palace. The question about the second landmark. What is it? Buckingham Palace, the Houses of Parliament, or the Tower of London? And the correct answer is the Houses of Parliament. Exactly. What is it? Easy to answer. It is, yes, London Eye. Next question to you. What is it? Piccadilly Circus, Trafalgar Square, Westminster Square. It is exactly Trafalgar Square. Very nice. Next question. What is it? Buckingham Palace, the Tower of London, or Westminster Bay? Can you remember this landmark? Yes, it is Westminster Bay. Next question to you. What is it? Big Ben, Big Clock, Big Tower? Yes, it is Big Ben. And next question to you. What is it? Buckingham Palace, the Tower of London, or Westminster Bay? Yes, it was our last landmark, and it is the Tower of London. So children, thank you for your attention. I hope that you enjoyed our tour. For next time, your home task will be exercise 3A, the text about our landmarks, and exercise 3B. You have read the text well and answer these questions. Thank you for your attention. See you next time. Goodbye.